The starry sky was silent, as if all sounds had been drowned in the relatively dark expanse of heaven and earth, dissipating into the distance. In the faraway ahead, there was a savage star, devoid of any brilliance, surrounded by an aura of lifeless energy that resembled an elderly figure struggling to breathe on the brink of death. His exhaled breaths were thick with death energy. On this savage star sat a person. Any cultivator who laid eyes on this scene would feel a tremor in their heart, their mind blank, convinced they were hallucinating and seeing an illusion that even their dreams could not conjure. The figure was larger than several planets, sitting solemnly on this celestial body, gazing into the distance as if deep in thought. His skin was rough, crisscrossed with countless fissures resembling markings, emitting a strange glow. One could distinctly feel the weight of years upon him, as if he had coexisted with the universe, surviving for an eternity, long enough that even he had difficulty remembering the passage of time. His immense form, merely sitting on the savage star, radiated an indescribable oppressive aura that enveloped the entire star domain, causing all living beings within it to tremble in fear. This was the Luotian star domain. Cultivators across the Luotian star domain were gripped by fear, their souls shaking with an anxiety they could not suppress. Some fierce beasts were frozen in place under this pressure, lying flat on the ground, as if ready to offer their lives at a mere thought from him. This individual seemed divine. 8 star marks orbited his brow, but only 4 shone brightly, while the other 4 remained in darkness, appearing desiccated, yet not dissipating. He resembled the strongest being of this star domain, a former ruler, awakening and gazing upon the heavens. After a long silence, the heaviness in his eyes turned to confusion. The rain realm bears no trace of him. The thunder realm holds no sign of him. The flash realm reveals nothing of him. Where could he be? This colossal giant raised his head, his expression fierce, unleashing a roar that shook the entire star domain. As the roar echoed, the starry sky trembled violently, the resonating sounds causing the savage star beneath him to implode, unleashing a storm that swept outward, drawing upon the very forces of heaven and earth, resulting in astonishing changes. The collapse of the savage star ripped open countless spatial rifts, icy winds blowing from the cracks, yet the giant felt no impact, continuing his roar. Under his booming voice, many fierce beasts in the Luotian star domain exploded, transformed into clouds of blood, as numerous cultivators trembled, spewing blood, suffering heavy injuries, or even death. Within this roar, an invisible wave of sound rippled outwards, spreading throughout the star domain. Any planet affected would tremble. Moments later, as the roar subsided, the savage star erupted in a thunderous explosion. Tuwa-sun stood up, stepping forward slowly toward the distance. The barriers of the 4 great immortal realms were inconsequential to him. In this world, nothing seemed capable of hindering his steps. His pace was slow, but due to his immense size, each step was monumental. After a few strides, a massive vortex thunderously appeared before him, filled with mist, a realm of clouds. Moving toward the vortex, Tuwa-sun's colossal form disappeared into the Luotian star domain, stepping into the cloud sea. At the moment he entered the cloud sea, all cultivators across the 9 tiers of the cloud sea star domain felt a profound and shocking aura resonate within them. Even the fierce beasts within the mist quaked in that moment, instinctively retreating, daring not to approach. Even the beast tied within the rifts of the 9th tier star domain displayed fear, frantically pulling back, resulting in an unprecedented halt to the bloodshed that had persisted for a century. An indescribable divine consciousness surged like a tempest or a cosmic storm within the cloud sea star domain, sweeping through, causing the mist to roll back as if trembling under its influence. Simultaneously, within the cloud sea star domain, several strands of divine consciousness surged forth from the 9th tier star domain, colliding forcefully with Tuwa-sun's consciousness. Silent, yet resonant sounds penetrated the heart and mind, akin to the simultaneous crash of thunder across the entire world that echoed wildly in the cloud sea. If it were any other time, Tuwa-sun would have inevitably engaged in battle, but at this moment, his eyes suddenly sharpened, Having searched through the four great realms without detecting any trace of Wang Lin, he nonetheless knew this person had not perished. Otherwise, he would surely sense the memories dissipating into the world. None of the four great star domains had any trace of his presence, so there was only one possibility. Tuo Sin stepped forward with his right foot, and immediately, the Cloud Sea star domain trembled. As the ripples spread, large cracks appeared in the starry sky before him, collapsing with a deafening roar. Tuo Sin's body sank into the cracks and vanished without a trace. After his disappearance, several divine senses arrived, filled with shock. They searched briefly before quickly departing. That day, the sudden upheaval in the Cloud Sea went unnoticed by all except a few ancient experts and a very small number of individuals who knew nothing of the true cause. Beneath the starry skies of the four great star domains was an expanse of nothingness, the location of the sealing formation. Breaking through here would allow one to enter the outer realm, where the ancient stars of antiquity lay. Tuo Sun appeared in this void, gazing far into the distance. His expression darkened further. For some time, his divine sense had spread across all areas, but he could not detect Wang Lin's presence anywhere. Ancient stars of antiquity, Tuo Sun murmured. His memory was incomplete, but within the fragments he had, he knew of the existence of the ancient stars and vaguely recalled that 2C had come from there, back when the sealing formation had not yet been established. In his blurry recollection, his gaze seemed to pierce through the sealing formation that filled the void, seeing beyond it, catching sight of his familiar homeland from his memories. Having searched everywhere without finding Wang Lin's presence, there was only one possibility left. Wang Lin was in the ancient stars of antiquity. Tuo Sin's eyes gleamed coldly. He was determined to capture Wang Lin. Only by devouring him could he become whole. Even if you've hidden in the ancient stars of antiquity, I will devour you. There's nowhere in this world you can escape. Tuo Sun clenched his right fist and took a step forward, causing the void to ripple violently as though being churned by layers of waves. In an instant, a dense web-like sealing formation appeared beneath the waves. The moment this web-like formation emerged in the void, Tuo Sin's right fist shot forward with a thunderous force. This was a true ancient god's punch, the punch of a royal ancient god. As this massive fist hurtled toward the sealing formation that surrounded both the inner and outer realms, Tuo Sun, in his arrogance, attempted to break it with his own power. When his fist landed, the entire void trembled with a resounding crash. Waves of energy swept outward from the center of his body, and the void itself seemed to be layered with the waves. Once the waves subsided, the entire void had completely transformed. What was once void was now a dense, intricate formation sealing the entire realm. Even Tuo Sun seemed as small as a mortal in comparison to it. The size of the formation was beyond description. It stretched endlessly, its boundaries invisible, only revealing a faint seven-colored glow from within. After Tuo Sun's fist struck, the booming sounds echoed, but the formation remained unmoved. From within it, a terrifying rebound force emerged, colliding with Tuo Sun's fist. With a deafening roar, even someone as powerful as Tuo Sun had to retreat. Tuo Sun's expression twisted with fury as he stared at the formation. As a royal ancient god, he was proud. How could there be a formation that could stop him from advancing? With a roar, Tuo Sun charged again, his fists resembling meteors as he collided violently with the formation. The formation trembled, but it didn't break. No matter how fiercely Tuo Sun attacked, it remained intact, sealing the way and not allowing anyone to take even a single step forward. The sights of the sealing formation immediately alerted the defenders of the ancient stars of antiquity. They flashed toward the formation, but before they could arrive, the formation, due to the intensity of the attacks, triggered the appearance of an array spirit. A silver-white light shot out from the formation, resembling lightning. In an instant, a long spear materialized, crackling with endless lightning. With a deafening roar, the spear hurtled toward Tuo Sun. Its speed was unimaginable, and it erupted with earth-shattering thunder. As it neared Tuo Sun, he abruptly turned and raised his right hand. With a single swipe, a surge of ancient god power shot out, colliding with the spear. With a mighty crash, the spear shattered, but it immediately reformed, this time with even greater force, and stabbed into Tuo Sen's right arm. As the spear struck, a massive surge of lightning erupted, extending from the wound in Tuo Sen's arm, wrapping around his colossal body like a deadly electric net, binding him tightly. Immediately after, the ceiling formation again radiated light. This time, the light turned blue, and a blue short sword materialized, emanating overwhelming sword chi and a chilling aura. Rushing directly toward Tuo Senator, gripping the god-slaying spear, Tuo Sun let out a low growl and swung it in front of him. In an instant, an overwhelming aura that could shake the heavens and earth spread, and with a sweep, it collided directly with the blue short sword. A series of loud bangs echoed wildly around, and the blue short sword suddenly shattered, turning into countless fragments. But instead of dispersing, the fragments rushed straight toward Tuo Senator at the same time. The formation sealing the realm began to glow once again, this time flashing 3 different lights rapidly. One of them was golden, enveloping the formation. As the golden light condensed, a massive golden blade, about 100 feet long, appeared. It flew out automatically, heading straight for Tuo Senator. The second light was purple. After the golden glow, it seemed to materialize from the heavens, forming a 1,000-foot-long purple whip, covered in countless runic marks. As soon as it appeared, the formation began to distort. The sound of cracking echoed as the whip, like a giant serpent, lashed out at Tuo Senator. The third light was red, spreading like blood, bathing the entire formation in a crimson glow. Wails of agony and roars of pain immediately filled the air. As the red light condensed, a 9-headed meteor hammer suddenly materialized, its 9 heads dripping with fresh blood. Clearly, this weapon spirit was extremely violent, having soaked up the blood of countless souls over the years. The moment it appeared, it swept across, expanding to thousands of feet, charging toward Tuo Senator. This sealing formation had 9 spirits, and now 5 of them were unleashed, all heading straight for Tuo Sun. Tuo Sun's expression grew extremely serious. He swung the god-slaying spear in his hands, and, with a sweep of his left hand, moonlight spread from his left arm. A crescent moon blade appeared, circling around him as it clashed with the formation spirits. The booming sounds made it seem as though the void might collapse, but the formation still showed no sign of breaking. Tuo Sen's low growl shook the heavens as he fought fiercely with the 5 weapon spirits. Just then, the formation above flickered with no light, but a scorching heat wave suddenly struck. As the heat wave appeared, a massive, ancient, and terrifying creature, several tens of thousands of feet in size, materialized within the sealing formation. It was an enormous trebuchet, radiating an ancient aura, its presence so fierce it could shatter the spirit of anyone who gazed upon it. On top of it was a flame, colorless and invisible to the naked eye, yet its unimaginable heat could be clearly felt by the soul. With a mighty crash, the fireball was hurled from the trebuchet straight toward Tuo Senator, but that was not all. Almost as soon as the fireball was launched, the trebuchet gathered more power from the heavens and the formation, transforming into another fireball and launching again. Over countless years, many who attempted to break this formation had perished beneath this weapon. The number of lives lost was beyond imagination. With 6 spirits now unleashed, even Tuo Sun could no longer withstand the onslaught. Amidst the thunderous booms, for the first time, Tuo Sun was forced to retreat. He had no choice but to pull back, his expression a mix of grave concern and disbelief, but his ferocity only deepened. What a powerful formation! Unless I devour Wang Lin and become a true royal 8-star ancient god, I'll never have a chance to break this formation. This formation is not just sealing cultivators within, but also targeting my ancient god clan. Yet, I can vaguely sense Wang Lin's aura from within the formation. He must be in the ancient star of antiquity outside the formation. I must break this formation, no matter what. Tuo Sen's eyes glowed red as he retreated, his right hand suddenly pressing against his brow. Immediately, an unprecedented light erupted from the 3rd point on his brow, and the aura of a 3rd-step cultivator's origin power exploded wildly. I'll expend all my strength to break through. But once I do, I'll have no way of coming back. However, none of that matters. Wang Lin is out there, in the ancient star of antiquity. Staying in this sealed realm is useless. As long as I can break out and devour him, any sacrifice is worth it. Determined, Tuo Sen's origin power in the third star point intensified, and in an instant, overwhelming light surged, enveloping both the void and the formation. From the third star point, one could vaguely hear the sounds of agony and death. His physical body resembled a statue, turned completely to stone. But now, cracks suddenly appeared around his eyes. With a series of cracking sounds, the old man opened his eyes that had seemingly been shut for ages. That old guy's aura. A strange light flashed through the old man's eyes, and countless memories seemed to surface from deep slumber, flooding his mind. After a long while, he shut his eyes again, becoming a statue once more. Elsewhere within the flash realm, atop a mountain peak on a cultivation star, a woman stood facing the wind. She gazed into the sky, her eyes full of longing and confusion. I can't remember. Whose aura is this? It's so familiar, so familiar. And at that same moment, on another cultivation star within the flash realm, a young man snored loudly as he lay nestled among the mountains. Suddenly, his body trembled, and he sat up with a jolt, staring blankly into the distance. After a while, he scratched his head. Scared the hell out of me. Thought those old bastards from the immortal domain came to drag me off again. But this aura, why does it feel so damn familiar? This youth was the very one who had escaped through a sudden rift during Wang Lin's heavenly tribulation years ago. As the gate formed from heaven defying opened, a figure slowly stepped out from within. In the distance, the old man, whose body was rapidly fading under the overwhelming light, saw this and panic once again flashed in his eyes. But soon after, his brow furrowed. That's not the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Could it be the second Lord of the Sealed Realm? But his aura isn't strong. That dread I felt, it's not from him, but from the gate behind him. The one who stepped out from the gate was Wang Lin. He had no physical body, only his essence spirit remained. The old man's eyes gleamed. Gritting his teeth, he swung his right hand forward, summoning a cloud of black mist that wrapped around him as he charged directly ahead. Kill him. Take heaven defying. If I succeed, I'll never need to fear the Palm Sovereign again. Shrouded in black mist, the old man charged straight into the blinding light, his body fading further as he pushed forward. From within the mist, a pitch-black claw shot out toward Wang Lin in a vicious grab. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He could sense the wild surge of third-step origin power rushing toward him. Yet his expression remained eerily calm. Coldly, he stared at the incoming claw, took a single step back, and retreated into the gate formed by heaven defying. Just as the elder approached, the heaven-defying gate behind Wang Lin suddenly blazed with intense light. At the same time, a gigantic arm materialized above the gate and reached out with a fierce grab toward the elder. With a loud bang, the elder's body erupted in black mist, turning into a primal shockwave attempting to resist the massive arm in a bid to kill Wang Lin. However, the collapse of the black mist didn't even cause the arm to pause for a moment. The arm continued its unstoppable descent, grabbing at the elder. No matter how the elder tried to dodge, he could not avoid the arm's grasp. Gritting his teeth, the elder bit his tongue, and his body suddenly split into 3 avatars. One avatar rushed toward Wang Lin, while the other 2 charged toward the arm. In an instant, the massive arm clenched into a fist, increasing its speed exponentially. It swept across, and the 2 avatars were instantly destroyed. Meanwhile, the arm shot forward, grabbing the elder rushing toward Wang Lin and squeezing with great force. If my true body were here, there might be a chance to fight back, but now... The elder's face twisted in a bitter smile. With a sigh, his body transformed into a shadow and dissipated into nothingness. From start to finish, Wang Lin remained emotionless, his expression cold without a hint of change. After the elder vanished, the heaven-defying gate behind Wang Lin flickered once more. It quickly contracted, becoming blurry and disappearing, merging into the heaven-defying, which then whisked Wang Lin's primordial spirit toward the distance. It tore through the starry domain, entering the void and vanishing without a trace. The once peaceful and pitch-black rainbow realm, after a century of silence, saw a sudden brilliance appear in the sky above the mountains deep within. As the light enveloped the entire realm, a blurry shadow materialized. A faint sense of confusion and emotion lingered, as if it sighed lightly. Its gaze fell upon the dusty corpse atop the mountain. It feels like a dream that has lasted for years. The shadow murmured, gradually merging into the corpse on the mountain, fusing together. After a long while, Wang Lin opened his eyes. Blood spurted from Tuo Sen's mouth, his expression contorted in pain, but his speed only increased. Just as the axe descended for the second time, he collided with the formation. This collision was earth-shattering. It shocked the 4 great immortal realms within the world, and even the array guardians from the outer realm who had arrived at this moment were left dumbfounded. The formation, which had never been breached, trembled violently, as though on the verge of collapsing. But in the end, it remained unbroken. Tuo Sen's relentless assault continued, and the formation trembled even more fiercely. Ink Flow Soul Division Art. Seeing the battle axe descending again and again, with each blow making Tuo Sen spit out more blood, he, in his madness, unleashed the Ink Flow Soul Division Art that 2C had not yet completed in his lifetime. In that instant, a black mist suddenly enveloped Tuo Sen's body. Under this mist, the battle axe paused mid-air, seemingly hesitating. Seizing the moment, the black mist seeped into the formation. Boom, boom, boom. Tuo Sen's voice erupted suddenly, shaking the heavens and earth. The meteors swirling around his body exploded with a deafening roar, unleashing a force of annihilation beyond imagination. This power crashed down upon the formation, and for the first time, a crack appeared in it. The instant the crack formed, Tuo Sen charged out. Amid his maniacal laughter, Tuo Sen spat out blood. 3 dim rule star marks returned to his brow, and in a sudden flash, one of them shattered. Wang Lin, this deity has arrived. Let's see where you can run this time. Within that fruit, the heaven-defying pearl slowly rotated. Gradually, it began to emit a blue flame. The flame spread inside the fruit, its color becoming even more striking and terrifying. Time passed. Inside the fruit, alongside the blue flame, faint arcs of lightning began to flicker, coiling within and slowly merging with the flame. Then came a surge of battle intent, bursting forth and gradually drawing nourishment from the liquid inside the fruit, blending slowly with the flame and lightning. The fusion of thunder, flame, and battle, something utterly impossible in the outside world, was happening here. Within this fruit, born of absorbing countless Tao concepts and power, the impossible transformed into a reality. More crucially, at the core of this fruit was the heaven-defying. Time flowed on. A new concept began to emerge. This was the Tao of truth and falsehood. It manifested as a Taiji diagram, half true and half false, half cause and half effect, half life and half death. As this Taiji form took shape, it immediately began to draw in the flame, lightning, and battle intent. Like a whirlpool, the Taiji spun, devouring everything within the fruit. And at its center, the heaven-defying rotated along with it. Wang Lin felt all of this in a state of hazy clarity. He seemed both to exist and to fade away. As the Taiji spun, thunder, flame, and battle were completely drawn into it. Flame, the Tao of forging the world within the rules. In the reborn awareness of Wang Lin, like a divine thought, a soft whisper emerged. The moment this divine thought arose, the fruit, formed of countless Tao concepts and insights, suddenly drew endless streams of liquid into the Taiji. These streams carried the lifelong comprehension of the power of flame from all those who had perished in pursuit of it over the ages. As Wang Lin absorbed it, the fruit lost its luster. Its liquid was devoured, and wrinkles began to appear on its surface. In this frenzied absorption, Wang Lin felt as if he was sinking into endless cycles of reincarnation. He became an old man standing in the starry sky, commanding the flames of the heavens and earth with a wave of his hands. Then, he became a middle-aged man, raising his hand and turning a cultivation star into a sea of fire. Then, a youth emerged, walking from a world consumed by flame. With each step, the sea of fire was drawn into him. Cycle after cycle of such scenes played out in Wang Lin's mind. Each cycle brought new enlightenment about flame, and with each one, the Tao concepts of flame merged deeper into his consciousness, becoming a part of him. At that moment, from ancient times through the age of immortals to the present four great realms, all who had ever comprehended flame became Wang Lin's nourishment. Though their bodies had long perished, their life's comprehension had been drawn away, once the nourishment for planting the Tao, now completely absorbed by Wang Lin. Thunder, the Tao of punishing all beings within the rules. As this second divine thought rang out, the massive fruit visibly shrank at incredible speed. Vast quantities of liquid were drawn into Wang Lin, the Tao concepts within merging wildly with his mind. He witnessed the cultivators of thunder from across the ages, ancient cultivators, chi refiners, and those of distant eras. All of their insights into the thunder rule flooded into Wang Lin's consciousness. It was as if he had become countless beings, experiencing endless eons from ancient times to now. He became those familiar yet unfamiliar chi refiners, cultivators, and ancients, gaining thunder power through countless tempests, mastering the thunder Tao through endless enlightenment. Battle, the Tao of defying the heavens within the rules. Throughout the entire ceiling boundary, the Tao concepts drawn here, each containing the lifetime of battles of countless cultivators, ignited in Wang Lin's mind. They transformed into a will of earth-shaking power, engraved deeply within his spirit. The fruit shrank further. As Wang Lin continued to absorb the liquid, even the massive crimson plant that bore it began to tremble. And just then, a voice filled with shock echoed across the star domain where the rainbow flower bloomed. The Tao fruit is about to emerge. Why is it withering? Alongside the voice came an incredibly powerful divine sense, surging straight toward the Tao fruit. Yet the moment it approached, a gentle radiance suddenly erupted from within the fruit, emanating from the heaven-defying pearl. That light spread softly outward, colliding with the incoming divine sense. The divine sense was immediately repelled by force. At the exact instant of this repulsion, a shocking transformation occurred. The fruit began to wither at an insane speed, and in the blink of an eye, it had been completely drained. Even its peel crumbled into countless specks of crimson light, all of which were absorbed entirely into the Taiji pattern on the surface of the heaven-defying pearl. It didn't stop there. As the fruit disappeared, the crimson plant itself trembled violently and began to wither rapidly, at a pace visible to the naked eye. The essence of the entire plant was unable to escape absorption. Every last drop was drawn into the heaven-defying pearl. Wang Lin's consciousness instantly felt an unimaginably vast surge of heaven and earth energy pouring into his spirit. His conceptual realm, which had already been rising steadily, now soared at a staggering rate. With this frenzied absorption, wave after wave of Tao concepts and elemental power merged into him. Wang Lin was overwhelmed with the sensation that his entire being was on the verge of collapse. Agonizing pain tore at his soul, as if it could shred his mind apart. His conceptual realm expanded wildly within his divine sense. Truth and falsehood, life and death, cause and effect, along with thunder, fire, and battle. All of these elements seemed to melt together in this single instant, becoming a profound enlightenment, birthing a brand new law that had never before existed in the world. And in the very moment this law was formed, Wang Lin's cultivation thundered forward like 1,000 bolts of lightning roaring in his ears. He broke through the mid-pure nirvana stage and ascended directly into the late pure nirvana stage. This law, interwoven with truth and falsehood, thunder, fire, and battle, became a Tao that belonged solely to Wang Lin in all of heaven and earth. A Tao encompassing all, thunder, fire, battle, life and death, cause and effect, truth and falsehood. Only by merging so many insights together, exploding forth in the form of truth and falsehood, could Wang Lin leap from the mid to the late pure nirvana stage in such a short span of time. But it wasn't over yet. Hidden within the heaven-defying pearl and unnoticed by all, Wang Lin's mind was being drawn inward. With each new wave of comprehension, with each burst of energy absorbed, his cultivation at the late pure nirvana stage surged toward perfect pure nirvana. and it seemed that even perfection at this stage was not the end of absorbing the Tao fruit's power. Never before had Wang Lin felt so close to the peak of the pure nirvana stage, so close to shattered nirvana. The chasm between pure nirvana and shattered nirvana was vast, often requiring tens of thousands of years of cultivation to cross. But now, after absorbing just one of the 7 colored flowers, that chasm had drastically narrowed. If he missed this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then even with the aid of pills and elixirs, Wang Lin would still need countless years to cross from pure nirvana to shattered nirvana. However, the Tao he was comprehending now wasn't fully self-realized. It was inherited through the reincarnation of the Tao fruit. It would require time to be fully internalized and transformed. But this wasn't the time for Wang Lin to pause and reflect on the gains and losses. He could clearly feel the heaven-defying pearl absorbing the entire essence of the Tao fruit and its crimson plant at an insane speed. It was like an equivalent exchange. Heaven-defying had granted him life, helped him survive a deadly tribulation, and now it demanded the appropriate amount of heaven and earth energy in return. Wang Lin was no stranger to this phenomenon. In the long years past, he had already learned heaven-defying's nature. Each activation required it to devour immense amounts of heaven and earth energy. If I let this opportunity slip by, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I would rather spend time to comprehend than miss out on this fortune and chance. Ever since he acquired the heaven-defying pearl, this was the first time Wang Lin had fought against it to seize heaven and earth energy for himself. I am the master of heaven-defying, not its slave. I helped you perfect your 5 elements. I found you extremes of yin and yang. You saved me in my crisis, and I am grateful. But that was already an exchange. If you take all the benefits, then what makes me different from a servant? Sharing the energy and Tao concepts from this point forward. Why should that be an issue? I am the master of heaven-defying. Heaven-defying. At that moment, an ancient voice rang out, filled with unimaginable shock. The starry sky twisted violently, and a figure cloaked in black robes materialized in an instant. He stared fixedly at the center of the Taiji symbol where the heaven-defying pearl lay, then rushed forward at full speed. But the instant he moved, he was abruptly stopped 10 feet away, completely unable to approach even a single step further. All he could do was watch helplessly as the crimson flower, painstakingly cultivated through great effort by the Palm's sovereign and nurtured over countless years, was utterly absorbed in the blink of an eye. The plant shrank rapidly and then vanished from the star domain altogether. From this moment on, the 7-colored flower was no more, only 6 colors remained. After fully absorbing everything, even the Taiji symbol outside the heaven-defying pearl was instantly drawn into Tian and I. In that moment, the entire world was reduced to nothing but the 6-colored flower and the heaven-defying standing suspended in midair. At that exact instant, a blinding brilliance burst forth from heaven-defying. The radiance was so intense it engulfed the entire star domain. Simultaneously, a massive illusory gate manifested in the void. The gate was colossal, vast enough to uphold the heavens and the earth. An ancient and solemn aura flowed from it. The gate was shut tight, not even the slightest crack showing. But just as it neared, the enormous gate slowly began to open. The moment it did, a brilliant light erupted from within, flooding the area and landing directly upon the old man's body. A scream of agony rang out. Terror flashed in the old man's eyes as he stopped advancing and instead retreated at high speed. The Lord of the Sealed Realm, is he resurrected? In an instant, the black garments covering the old man's body ignited, revealing his emaciated frame. But even his body began emitting thick smoke, as if under the brilliance of that light, even someone as powerful as him was starting to melt. As the gate opened, a world-shaking aura surged outward, reverberating across the ceiling formation outside the boundary, spreading endlessly. In that same instant, shortly after Tua Sen's departure, the spirits of the Sealed Realm Grand Array once again emerged. This time, even the final spirit, which had never before shown itself, materialized. This last array spirit was none other than a jade pendant. The moment it appeared, endless ripples spread across the Sealed Realm Grand Array, accompanied by a deafening rumble that shook the heavens. At that very moment, The powerhouses among the primordial people outside the realm all sensed a presence so overwhelming it shook their very souls. Some of the oldest and most ancient monsters among them recognized it. This aura made them tremble. In that instant, their minds went blank, completely overtaken by fear. The Lord of the Sealed Realm. Compared to the outer realm, the inner realm didn't feel the impact as strongly. Only the supreme beings within the four great immortal realms could perceive it. In the divine sect, within a secluded chamber, a boy sat cross-legged. Though he looked like a child, his hair was snow-white. He had sat motionless for tens of thousands of years. But at this moment, his eyelids twitched, and suddenly, his eyes snapped open. Master's aura. In the Renegade Immortal realm, Qing Lin sat in silent meditation, trying to recover his cultivation. Yet in that instant, an unprecedented light flared in his eyes. He leapt to his feet and stared into the distance, exhaling deeply. Master. In the Wind Immortal realm, amidst the endless mosquito beast swarm, an old man sat cross-legged on a ruined path within the collapsing realm. His physical body resembled a statue, turned completely to stone. But now, cracks suddenly appeared around his eyes. With a series of cracking sounds, the old man opened his eyes that had seemingly been shut for ages. That old guy's aura. A strange light flashed through the old man's eyes, and countless memories seemed to surface from deep slumber, flooding his mind. After a long while, he shut his eyes again, becoming a statue once more. Elsewhere within the Flash realm, atop a mountain peak on a cultivation star, a woman stood facing the wind. She gazed into the sky, her eyes full of longing and confusion. I can't remember. Whose aura is this? It's so familiar, so familiar. And at that same moment, on another cultivation star within the Flash realm, a young man snored loudly as he lay nestled among the mountains. Suddenly, his body trembled, and he sat up with a jolt, staring blankly into the distance. After a while, he scratched his head. Scared the hell out of me. Thought those old bastards from the immortal domain came to drag me off again. But this aura, why does it feel so damn familiar? This youth was the very one who had escaped through a sudden rift during Wang Lin's heavenly tribulation years ago. As the gate formed from heaven defying opened, a figure slowly stepped out from within. In the distance, the old man, whose body was rapidly fading under the overwhelming light, saw this and panic once again flashed in his eyes. But soon after, his brow furrowed. That's not the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Could it be the second Lord of the Sealed Realm? But his aura isn't strong. That dread I felt, it's not from him, but from the gate behind him. The one who stepped out from the gate was Wang Lin. He had no physical body. Only his essence spirit remained. The old man's eyes gleamed. Gritting his teeth, he swung his right hand forward, summoning a cloud of black mist that wrapped around him as he charged directly ahead. Kill him. Take heaven defying. If I succeed, I'll never need to fear the Palm Sovereign again. Shrouded in black mist, the old man charged straight into the blinding light, his body fading further as he pushed forward. From within the mist, a pitch-black claw shot out toward Wang Lin in a vicious grab. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He could sense the wild surge of third-step origin power rushing toward him. Yet his expression remained eerily calm. Coldly, he stared at the incoming claw, took a single step back, and retreated into the gate formed by Heaven Defying. Just as the elder approached, the heaven-defying gate behind Wang Lin suddenly blazed with intense light. At the same time, a gigantic arm materialized above the gate and reached out with a fierce grab toward the elder. With a loud bang, the elder's body erupted in black mist, turning into a primal shockwave attempting to resist the massive arm in a bid to kill Wang Lin. However, the collapse of the black mist didn't even cause the arm to pause for a moment. The arm continued its unstoppable descent, grabbing at the elder. No matter how the elder tried to dodge, he could not avoid the arm's grasp. Gritting his teeth, the elder bit his tongue, and his body suddenly split into 3 avatars. One avatar rushed toward Wang Lin, while the other 2 charged toward the arm. In an instant, the massive arm clenched into a fist, increasing its speed exponentially. It swept across, and the 2 avatars were instantly destroyed. Meanwhile, the arm shot forward, grabbing the elder rushing toward Wang Lin and squeezing with great force. If my true body were here, there might be a chance to fight back, but now. The elder's face twisted in a bitter smile. With a sigh, his body transformed into a shadow and dissipated into nothingness. From start to finish, Wang Lin remained emotionless, his expression cold without a hint of change. After the elder vanished, the heaven-defying gate behind Wang Lin flickered once more. It quickly contracted, becoming blurry and disappearing, merging into the heaven-defying, which then whisked Wang Lin's primordial spirit toward the distance. It tore through the starry domain, entering the void and vanishing without a trace. The once peaceful and pitch-black rainbow realm, after a century of silence, saw a sudden brilliance appear in the sky above the mountains deep within. As the light enveloped the entire realm, a blurry shadow materialized. A faint sense of confusion and emotion lingered, as if it sighed lightly. Its gaze fell upon the dusty corpse atop the mountain. It feels like a dream that has lasted for years. The shadow murmured, gradually merging into the corpse on the mountain, fusing together. After a long while, Wang Lin opened his eyes. Suddenly, the sound of pounding echoed from within his body, and the surrounding dust immediately scattered, forming a storm that swept outward. Having slept for a century, he rose again. The moment Wang Lin stood up, an aura of late pure nirvana stage erupted from within him. This aura surged rapidly, quickly reaching its peak. With a deafening boom, he broke through and attained perfect pure nirvana. But the rising aura didn't stop there. It became even more ferocious, charging toward shattered nirvana. Among the rainbow flowers, one absorbed a massive amount of Tao concepts and the power of heaven and earth. Although the majority was devoured by heaven-defying, because this was the first time Wang Lin actively seized it, he managed to draw a significant amount away from heaven-defying. At this moment, his hair fluttered without wind, and an eerie aura emanated from his body. His left eye ignited with flames, forming a mark, while his right eye became a flash of lightning, also forming a mark. The two marks flew out, merging into one, and within it, a faint battle character could be seen. This was a mark that had never appeared in the world before, a new rule. As the mark flickered, it landed on Wang Lin's forehead, merging with his Tao of truth and falsehood. Suddenly, around the mark, a symbol resembling the Taiji diagram appeared, rotating slowly. Finally, it released a strange glow, gradually shrinking into a star point that flickered on his forehead before fading away. This star point, no matter how one looked at it, resembled the ancient god star. If a 9-star ancient god had such a new rule-marked star point on their forehead, it could easily be mistaken for a 10-star ancient god. At the moment the star point of this rule appeared, a shattered nirvana aura erupted from within Wang Lin's body, so powerful it shook the heavens and the earth. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his eyes clearing. He quickly raised his right hand, forming a seal and tapping on himself several times. His complexion reddened slightly, but he didn't stop. He continued to tap and inscribed numerous sealing runes before finally pausing. The shattered nirvana aura within him gradually dissipated, eventually hidden beneath the many seals. This aura is enough to bring me to the peak of early shattered nirvana, but if I let this rule solidify, without fully understanding it, my cultivation will be stuck from here on out. The consequences of such a method are too great for my future, but to give it up would be a waste. Therefore, I will seal it for now. Once I fully understand and master the rule formed from this conceptual realm, I will gradually unseal them. That way, there's no risk, and my cultivation will be even stronger. Wang Lin inhaled deeply, his eyes flashing cold light. At my current perfect pure nirvana stage, with half a step into the realm of shattered nirvana, I can't help but wonder, how powerful would I be when combined with my ancient god physique, my divine abilities and treasures? Could I defeat someone at the late shattered nirvana stage, or even someone who has reached its peak? I believe I could handle the late stage, but the peak? I've never fought one, so it remains unknown. If the opportunity arises, I must face them in battle. From the center of Wang Lin's brows, the hidden star mark suddenly flashed uncontrollably, enveloping his entire body in a thick aura of battle intent. Wang Lin took a deep breath, suppressing the star mark as he furrowed his brows. He understood. This was a sign of his incomplete mastery and comprehension. It's time to leave. I wonder how the mosquito beasts have fared over the years, and just how long I've been asleep within that rainbow flower. It must have been 20 or 30 years by now. A bright gleam flickered in Wang Lin's eyes. Brimming with confidence, he stepped forward and instantly left the mountain, flying into the distance. Once this is over, I'll head to the Wind Immortal realm. If I can gather a great number of mosquito beasts, then even the divine sect within the Sea of Clouds won't be out of reach for me. The only uncertainty is whether Tuasun has awakened. At that very moment, within the vast starry ocean of the ancient star of antiquity, Tuasun stood in a daze, staring at the sky, jaw clenched and face darkened with fury. His body radiated a rage so fierce it seemed he might destroy every living thing in sight. He had gone through unimaginable effort, shattering an entire star, draining a third-step cultivator drive from within a star mark, all just to break free from the formation and hunt down Wang Lin. Yet now, no matter how he tried to sense him, there was not even the slightest trace of Wang Lin's aura. He's not in the inner realm, nor the outer realm, but I can still sense his presence lingering in that formation. Don't tell me he's actually hiding within it? With his cultivation, that should be impossible. Tuasun let out a furious roar to the heavens, his eyes bloodshot. Glancing around, he noticed a distant star domain seemingly inhabited by a large number of primordial people. With nowhere else to vent his rage, he clenched his fists and charged toward it. Damn you, Wang Lin. One day, this deity will find you, and only by devouring you alive will the rage in my heart be satisfied.